Ooh.
Perfect. And
Alrighty.
now we're all aware.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. So learning happens. School is optional. That may go against everything you've ever heard, um, because we're told, you know, so what if somebody asked you why, if you met another parent and they said, my, what grade your child in? Right? We're expecting, that's how people start conversations. What school did they go to? What grade are they in? Those are questions that specifically revolve around the conditioning that we've had for the government school system. And, but we know that learning happens. How did your kids learn to walk? How did they learn to talk? The same way that they did those first things is how they're going to learn everything else. And if you can imagine yourself with your child just taking their first steps, and what does the parent look like in that situation? Can one of you give me an example of if when you were watching your kids take their first steps, what was your experience? You don't have to answer, but if you want to, you can. Yes, Berkemel.
Yeah, it's just a second. Sorry. Uh, so my daughter, she took her first steps a little late, as they used to say that usually girls walk at the first 10th month or so. So she started walking at her 15th month. But
Yep,
yes, that felt good, of course. But then I did not push her or anything. I was like, let nature take its course. So whenever is the right time, whatever she's doing, whenever it happens, it will happen. So yeah.
exactly. I had one daughter, she's one of my 25-year-olds. She was running at 7 months.
Oh yes.
And there's nothing wrong with a child that walks at 7 months or a child that walks at 18 months or 15 months.
Yeah.
There isn't, they're not walking disabled or the walking challenged. It's just not the right time for them to do it. So,
Yeah.
and nobody's going to know the difference when they're 5 or 7. They're not going to, nobody's going to ask, oh, what age did your child walk at? And is there a difference between ones that walk at 7 months and one that walk at 15 months? No, there isn't. By the time they're older, they're all walking and running and everybody's got it and they get it in their own time.
Yeah. You won't believe this was the same thing. Me and one of the mothers today at the center were discussing this, that it doesn't matter when things
Right.
happen.
Yeah,
After like 4 or 5 years, everyone will be on the same stage, same pace.
yeah.
So that's okay.
Excellent. Now, I pretty much guarantee that most of you, if you were lucky enough to be there for your child's first steps, you were probably crouched down, arms open wide, big
Yeah.
smile on your face,
Yeah.
encouraging, oh, good God, good God, you can do it,
Yeah.
right? And that, if we can approach everything they learn with that kind of enthusiasm and encouragement and confidence to help their confidence and let them know that they're accepted and what they're doing, the attempt is good. Even if they fail, it's okay. We're still there for them. Oh, honey, you fell. It's okay. I'm right there. I'll give you a hug. We're not going to beat them. We're not going to make them stay late. We're just, you know, there's no punishment for not taking their first steps properly. But it's that encouragement that's most important. um Now I don't know, like, if everybody could go up to the top right hand corner of their Zoom and click the speaker view, you'll be able to see the slides better. Okay, just let me know if you have any issue with that. everybody good? Okay. So, all righty. So the next slide is about that whole learning, the learning spectrum. So because we're all conditioned to school being something that everybody does and everybody sends their kids to school, nobody asks questions, and it's all done in a specific way. There are people who will, pardon me, replicate that at home or try to. So as you can see, the industrial model of school is school at home. The belief is that children must be taught to learn. But we've just talked about kids learning at their own pace, and nobody made them learn or take those words or take those steps or make those sounds. That it wasn't the curriculum of walking or the curriculum of talking. It was, they just picked it up and started doing it. And so there are those people who believe that if a child is not taught something, they will not learn it. Then in the middle, we have the general homeschooling, and the belief is that children learn innately, but the basics must be taught. And then on the other end of the spectrum, free learning, unschooling, the belief is learning happens naturally, and we support that, right? So none of these are wrong. Homeschooling means different things to different people. That's why the majority of the community that have been home educating for a long time don't use the word homeschooling anymore. They use the term home educated or self-directed learning, which we'll get into a little later. But that's the range of things, and you'll know where you feel comfortable. Are you comfortable with a school-like structure? And that can be had without following any curriculum from the ministry. And we're going to get into the requirements and laws a little later, not too far later, but so we don't lose you. But generally speaking, this is you will have people who let their kids do anything, and it's still learning, because everything that we teach in the system, where does it come from? Where does the math come from? Where does the science come from? Where does the geography come from? Where do those concepts originate from? Anybody want to answer that?
I believe maybe it's just that we see and learn, and we learn.
So when
Basically,
you
kids
cook,
learn on the go.
right? When you cook, there's math
Yeah,
involved because you're measuring, right? There's
right.
science involved because you're seeing thermodynamics. You might not know that term, but you know that the sugar melts and the things happen when the eggs get harder with the heat, and some things get softer with the heat. And so that law of thermodynamics, even though the term isn't known, you still learn the concept. And so what I'm getting at is these concepts, everything that is on the school curriculum comes from everyday life, natural living. People needed to do something, and it required a certain like they'd start writing so that they could keep records. They'd start calculating so that they could know how much grain they had. So all of these things come from real life. And home educating for the majority of people is restoring those concepts back into their natural environment. So grade levels and subjects primarily exist in schools. Once you take your children out of school, you are not required to follow any of that. You don't have to follow grade levels because let's think about it. Who decided what kids should know at different grades or different ages? Right? And why do we do that? In the schools, it's because they're all sorted and we use they're sorted by age, but we also say that sorting by date of manufacture, right? Because it was designed for the industrial system. We wanted kids to be able to work in industry and do what they were told, when they were told, how they were told, follow instructions, and work in a some sort of industry on a line for making cars or making whatever with the big machines. And we just needed kids to do what they were told. And so the learning part is, okay, what does that look like? So our next slide, if I don't click too many times, talks about pedagogy, which is what we're all used to at school. A teacher standing up at the front, telling the kids what the curriculum is. Okay, today we're going to do math. Who decided that they were going to do math? Well, the teacher didn't decide. The kids didn't decide. The school didn't decide. The curriculum was decided by people who we don't even know. And this is one of the first things I'm going to ask all of you to do is challenge the assumptions. When you say, I need to get a curriculum or I need to get this grade level stuff for my child, who decided that? Are you making the decision because it's something that's needed or wanted, or it's an interest, or it's a solution to a problem? Or is it just because you think you have to because that's what you've been told? Whenever you hear yourself saying, don't I have to fill in the blank? The answer is generally no. So just for the first part here, pedagogy is what we know at school. The child says, teacher, what is that? The teacher says, listen, and I will tell you, right? What we're doing as we take our children out of that system, and that doesn't mean they can't go back or go to take organized classes, because let's say your child's interested in learning the violin. You might get a violin teacher or send them to a music school or a karate studio or a ballet class. They're going to have that pedagogical style there. But the big difference is that you chose it. It's not compulsory. You didn't have to just sit there and do it if you wanted to or not. Does that make sense? So andragogy is, just imagine this. Teacher, what is that? I don't know. Let's figure it out together. Now, the way I prefer to say that is good question, because we want our kids to trust our direction, right? Good question. Let's find out. And then we help our children learn how to learn. If we just do it for them, are they ever going to learn how to do it? Right? Experiential learning, practical learning, observational learning, those are the things when hands-on. If you didn't do it yourself, you didn't really understand it, right? So that's true learning, natural learning. And then hudagogy, which most people, don't get into until they're much older, is, I wonder what that is. Let me take a photo and do some research when I get home, right? And that's completely independent thing. You might have a child that's like that. I've known a boy who wanted to be an artist. He never wanted to take any art classes. He said, that's art that other people have already done. I want to make my own. I want to be different. I want to be me. I want to put my art on the paper. He didn't want to learn how to do all the little nuances of shading and that. He had his own direction, his own intrinsic motivation. So that would be more of a hudagogical way. But andragogy is, let's figure out how to do it, or let me help you figure out how to do it. And we find where it is. And thus your child learns how to learn, which is way more important than learning, just memorizing stuff that they're going to spit out on a test and forget. How many people, show of hands, if you've got that emoji thing on your Zoom, I have to go hunting for it all the time, so I'm going to give you lots of. How many people know what a preposition is? We all learned it at school, and unless you're in a field of linguistics or some other sort of languages, or you're a teacher teaching it, you will never use that word for the rest of your life. Nor will you generally use words like adjectives, adverbs. And in math, like who hasn't said, when am I ever going to use this? Calculus. Where does that live? Where does that exist in nature, in real life? When is that used? Are you going to be in a field that you're going to need that? Or is that something that when you decide what it is you're interested in, can you learn it then because you've learned how to learn? So I'm going to skip to the next slide. And these are some, just a very, very small number of people who were not in school. Berlioz, the composer, look him up on YouTube. He has a very great story. Early 1800s, he was living on a farm in France with his parents. His father was a doctor. And as a little kid, he found a little flute and he would play on it incessantly. His father took the time to show him how to put his fingers over the holes. And then after he practiced and practiced and practiced and pretty much drove his parents mad, they had a sheep farm. The dad, the doctor, who was working in their home, because the practice was at their home farm, people who were ill would come to their farm, old school, without the school part. And he bought him a real flute. And that was it. That was his passion for the rest of his life. He became a composer, and you will be able to see those glimmers in your kids' eyes with the toys that they choose and the things that they like to do. You are your child's best teacher. You know them better than any teacher in the school, better than any principal, better than any social worker, better than anybody else. You have a relationship with your child. And that is what's more important than any textbook ever. So we've got Florence Nightingale, Christina Aguilera, Misty Copeland. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She was a ballerina. Ryan Gosling had ADHD. Venus and Serena Williams, the tennis magnificence. Thomas Edison. Francis Collins, the director of the Human Genome Program. Agatha Christie, Frank Lloyd Wright. So, and we have hundreds of people that we could put in this list, but I wanted to just, render it down to a few that that might give you some ideas of, oh, like what am I looking for in my child that I can help give them the step up. So that's mostly about learning. This is a little video that I'm just thinking I'm going to skip it, but I'll give you the information for it. You can find it on the NFB National Film Board website, and it's called Overdose. And so if you can jot that down and look it up and watch that, that is a good example of why I don't send my kids to school. Okay, so here, why homeschool? What? 7:30. It's 7:30, sorry. And do any of you, are you thinking about homeschooling? Are you already homeschooling, or is this just a totally different type of idea that, so how did you hear about home educating?
Can I go now?
Yes, please.
So right now, my daughter is almost 2. So we were sending her to daycare. We just began. She went for a few days, like all the kids. She cried, and then I pulled her out. And I was like, maybe I should wait for another year or sometime. And yes, I do have these thoughts, and maybe I should homeschool her at least before the schooling starts, like at
Right.
4 or 6. And even sometimes, even after after she turns 4 or 6, I have these thoughts at the back of my mind, but not concrete thoughts.
Yeah.
So that's why I was a little, I would say, excited to attend this workshop, to listen.
Absolutely. I'm so
And
glad you're here. Anybody
yeah.
else?
Hi.
Hi.
So I have my son. He's 15, and he loves to do jujitsu, and he want to spend most of his time doing that. And he find that school is so stressed out and take most of his energy and time. So he
Yeah.
doesn't have much time to do what he loves, like jujitsu. So
Uh,
he asked me to homeschool.
Fantastic. And boy, is he doing it right at the right time.
Yeah,
Because
so this is the he's gonna go to grade 10, and now we're gonna start doing this this school year. So I'm a little nervous.
so does he want to go to school, or does he want to do it himself?
Do at home.
Yeah. Oh, you've got,
Yeah.
like, trust me, we're here for you. We have all the resources and can help you with, help him and you with everything you need. Because you do not, okay, I'm going to say this really, like, you might repeat it. You do not need a high school diploma, credits, or a transcript to go to university or college or to be successful.
Okay, so yeah, the only thing I'm concerned is like if later he want to go to university or
He could
college.
be doing that right now. I went to University of Toronto at 14. My daughter went to the University of Western Ontario at 13. And because we don't use grade levels,
Okay.
kids can go to university or college at any age. There is no barrier. I have kids at 13 who went into the medical program at Western without ever having been to school, and were accepted into the medical program at 13 years old. A 12-year-old that was accepted into the actuarial sciences department because that was his passion, right?
Yeah.
Then we had a 15-year-old get into the law program at York. You do not need credits or high school to go to university and be successful. You don't need a high school diploma to have your own business, to hire people for your business. You don't, we're in an age where everything is available, and a lot of it is available for free. then I'm happy to show that to anybody who's interested. Please make sure they have my contact information, Emelina, so that, they can reach out. My cell number, because I have tons of information. I've been doing this for, like I said, 30 plus years, and now my grandchildren.
Yes. We would really love to listen to your experiences, how you did it.
Oh,
And really, we would love to.
I've got some great things to show you. So let's continue here.
Yes, please.
So why do families homeschool? Majority here you're going to see is safety. And these, understand that these percentages, because there is no requirement for home educators to register anywhere. These are taken from those that have participated with studies voluntarily. Okay. So because you are not required to register, you don't have to ask anybody for permission to home educate. If your child has never been in the system, they do not have to. And I can explain more on that, because people think at 6 they have to go to school. No, that's not true. So we've got safety, just natural reasons, like they want to be more in nature. So there's forest schools and things like that. Religious reasons, just moral reasons. They have an issue with what the schools are teaching. The other, of course, is going to be everything. Special needs from the autism, blind, deaf communities, like any special needs. Now, these were done before COVID. So there are a lot more reasons now that people home educate. A lot of it is dissatisfaction, like 20% dissatisfaction with what the schools are doing. So there's some comments here from people. A lot of people started in COVID because they didn't have a choice. But the majority of people who home educated before COVID, they usually took the time and had the time to make a conscious choice, which parents in COVID didn't have that opportunity. They didn't have that luxury to really make a conscious decision as to whether it was what was right for them or not. So we're here to help all those people. So what are your reasons? Is there a passion or a trigger event? Is there something that is this you can, write down for yourself. Go through, like, what are your motivations for wanting to be responsible for your kids' education? Because primarily you have that right. The school is not responsible for your kids' education. And they're not even responsible if you put your kid in the school system. They are not going to be the ones that your kids come running back to see if they can move in with, like, them if they haven't been able to find a job. So they finish grade 12. They go out there, they can't find a job. They're not going to go running to their grade 11 English teacher and say, hey, you failed me, I need to move in. No, they're going to come running home to parents. And that's the crazy part, is that we have the right to be responsible and can choose that. Now, that also means we can contract it out. We can put our kids in private schools or have tutors for different subjects. There are a million different places online that you can get even daily subjects. The difference is you are the one making the choice for your child or with your child, or your child's making the choice. And instead of it being forced on them, they are choosing what they want to learn and what is meaningful for them, rather than, just doing what they're told. There's a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. The fixed mindset is, generally speaking, happens in school. Because what happens in school when your kids do a test, let's say they get 7 out of 15, are they ever going to get a chance to go back and catch up on what they missed or what they got wrong if they're interested in it? There's no time in a classroom to go back and catch what you might have missed. You have kids passing on to the next grade level with a 51 or a, and so they're already starting off with less, and being told that they're less than just because they can't be identical to somebody else. But kids aren't identical to other kids. Every 10-year-old is not identical to every other 10-year-old. When a 10-year-old is in a group of 10-year-olds, what do they learn? They learn how to be a 10-year-old. They don't see the 15-year-old or the 16-year-old or the older kids doing things that might interest them at a younger age. They don't learn to have that, how do I behave in a group of people of different ages? How do I speak to adults? How do I speak to little kids? How do I speak to my peers is important. It's not the most important thing. So I never wanted my kids to be over socialized to their own peer group and under socialized to the rest of the world. So here's just some activities that kids will get involved with: archery, ropes, high ropes. So step one, doing your research. That's one of the reasons you're here. And thank you, because this is an informed decision. You're getting some more information so that whether you decide to put your kids in school or homeschool or unschool or whatever, you are the one that is getting the information and you're educating yourself, which is bravo. That's what more people need to do instead of just following like sheep. Oh, why do you put your kid in school? That's what I did. I got so tired of people saying, oh, why do you homeschool? That I started being proactive. And I, when we meet with other families at the park with kids, I'd say, so, what grade is your child in? And they'd say, oh, this grade. What school do they go to? That school. So why did you choose public education? People don't even know. They think, aren't you supposed to? Don't you have to? Isn't it just, it's the school down the street. Aren't I supposed to do that? People don't know their rights. They don't know they don't have the courage. They don't think that they can do it. They don't have the confidence, because that confidence has been taken away from them. Right? What do you hear? Oh, you're not a teacher. You're just a parent. You could have a master's degree. You could be a university professor. No, they don't know that, and they say, oh, you're just a parent. You think you can teach your own kid. It goes that way a lot. There are a lot of people who challenge that. So does it fit your family? And what is it that fits your family? Do you want to sleep in? I'm lazy. I never wanted to get up at God only knows what hour in the morning to make lunch and shoo my child away. I love my child. I wanted to spend time with them. I wanted to play with them. I wanted to do stuff with them. And I always had a business. So I worked from home, or I had my own business that I worked on weekends, or because home education doesn't happen between 9 and 3. You can have your own business or work at home or outside of home, depending on your caregiver situation or family relationships, right? So what are the values that you want to share with your child? Because once they go to school, you might not ever be able to really help your children get that. Think about the time that they're going to be with strangers who you don't know their values. You don't know how they think. You don't know anything about them, but these are expected to be your child's friends. And the first question that people ask is, what about socialization? What is school true socialization? Is it socialization that we want? Maybe we just want our kids to be able to be social. And that's not the same thing as socialization, which is being done with them, to them. You're in a class of 20, 30 kids, and that's your only group of connections. Next, great book, The Teenage Liberation Handbook. It has a different cover now because it came out 30 years ago, and the 30-year anniversary volume is out there. It's by an author named Grace Llewellyn. She's amazing. And this is literally how to deprogram from the system and help your children succeed without school. Will you homeschool? Commit to 1 year for best results. Because if you just start and stop and start and stop, that's not going to help you, because it's going to be really confusing. Kids need stability, they need consistency, and they need to trust that even if they say, I want to go back, maybe they miss their friends. That's usually the biggest reason. They don't always know what's right for them. Do you let them not brush their teeth just because they don't want to? Do you let a teenager not shower because he doesn't want to? That can get pretty gross pretty fast. You know, our kids do need us, but we need to listen to them as well. So if they are wanting to go back because they miss their friends, find other ways and other opportunities for them to get together with other kids, which is what people do. We had 77 kids out for soccer Wednesday morning, all homeschooled. They're all interested in soccer. So, and it's a multi-age group because there's the younger kids, there's the older kids, there's the kids that are kicking around the ball. And so there are tons of opportunities for social engagement. So I don't know if you've seen this cartoon. It's been around for a long time. Albert Einstein said, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. And that is what we have. My daughter took ballet. She also took aero classes, like the high ropes and ribbons. And she worked with a young lady who was employed by Cirque du Soleil. She had come into our area and did a workshop for kids who were interested. And my daughter was talking to her after. She was only around 9 at the time. And this aerialist said, well, she went to school, and in grade 10, she told her teacher, I want to be in Cirque du Soleil. I want to work for them. I want to be an aerialist. I want to be in the circus. And her teacher told her that she would never do that, that was something that was just very sideways kind of thing. You know, you're never going to do that. Your marks aren't good enough. You're not able to do that kind of thing. So she quit school in grade 10 and started job shadowing an aerialist at Cirque du Soleil. She started using connections and just asking questions, standing back at the stage door, asking people, how do I get into this? And she found people who were happy to mentor her and give her the step up that she needed. And then she went back to the high school that she went to, and she stood in front of that teacher and said, "Oh, by the way, I work for Cirque du Soleil now. Thanks for giving me all that encouragement, because I might not have done it if you hadn't have told me that I couldn't do it." So when we judge people on what we think, instead of listening to them, we can make big mistakes. Hey, they might be reading, they might be, just hanging outside. It's still learning. Even if it doesn't look like there's a book, even if it's just climbing a tree, that is brain development. Being able to work your hands up to a different level, put your feet in the right place. Crawling has a lot to do with brain development. And you can find those articles. Maybe, Emelina, you can find some of those for them, because show how important crawling is for babies, because it helps their brain develop. So what do you do next? You withdraw your children from school. So Ontario, if your children have never been to school, you don't ever have to register them, even after they're 6. If your children have been in school, you are withdrawing them. The schools will tell you that they need all this information, and you need to give them a letter of intent to homeschool. You don't. They will mention Policy Memorandum 131, and that is a policy that is for the school boards. It is not a law for families. You don't have to follow a policy that is for the school boards. In fact, the policy wording itself says parents who want to homeschool should send a letter, a notice of intention to homeschool. Doesn't mean you have to, because in section 21.2a, and I haven't got this up on a screen because I should actually add it to this. Section 21.2a of the Education Act states, and I'm just going to flip back here for a moment. Section 21.2a of the Education Act. I'm going to put that in the comments here, the chat. And if you happen to get in touch with me, send me your email, I can send you that section of the act. It states, a person, it used to say a child. The only wording change in the last 30 years has been it's gone from child to person. A person is excused from attendance at school, providing satisfactory instruction is provided at home or elsewhere. Here's important things. A child is, not maybe. You're not asking for permission. 2, satisfactory instruction is not defined by the Education Act. What might be satisfactory for a Hasidic Jewish child might not be for an Amish child. What might be satisfactory for a deaf child may not be for a blind child. Every child is a genius, just like that quote. But they do things differently. They're not a genius in everything. I could, but don't, fix my own toilet. Why? Because there are people who are better trained to do that. I do not pump gas into my car. I go to stations where they do it for me. Why? Because they're better at it and I don't want to. Right? We need people who can have different skills. You don't have to do everything. So I'm going to jump back into our slideshow here because we started a little late. So withdraw your child from school if you contact me or go on the Ontario homeschool, like the Federation, the Ontario Federation of Teachers Parents, Teaching Parents website. You can find the withdrawal letter, or the letter of intent. It is up to you. It is, of course, your choice if you want to let the school know. Most families do have a lot of issues with schools trying to intimidate or ask for more information than they are really entitled to. They're not entitled to know anything. You registered your child with the school, maybe, and they have provided a service. You take your child out of the school. You know, your karate school is not going to keep hounding you every year to say, is your kid coming back? Are you still doing exercises at home? No, the school is not responsible for your child's education. You are. Free to Learn, an excellent book by Dr. Peter Gray, which will explain how play is the natural way that mammals learn. It's an excellent book. Highly recommend it to everybody. And what now? Play. Play is how you find out what your kids are interested in. Do they want to do Lego? Do they love doing puzzles? Do they love playing Minecraft? Minecraft is amazing. We had a 12-year-old student, a 12-year-old home educated student doing university level calculus in a Minecraft game. He didn't know it was university level calculus. He was just doing the things that were required to complete the goal. And if we'd have told him at the time, he would have said, oh, no, I don't want to do this anymore. School terms are not necessarily important until they're later on when they might need to know it. If you want your kids to hate learning, force them to do curriculum. Sit them down at the table and said, this is what you have to do. They will learn to hate learning because it's no different from school. However, if you can find, oh, my kid's interested in this, so my grandson, when he was from the earliest age, he was drawn to turtles and sea life. So I got everything I could get my hands on turtles. He counted I didn't tell him to do this. When we were around turtles, he would count the little sections on the shell. He would ask all sorts of questions that I couldn't even have begun to guess that he would ask. And so now, like, he builds sea worlds in Minecraft. He's 7. We got him a game from a university, which is a marine biology course that developed this game so that it introduces you to diving and scanning animals and cataloging them. And he's 7, and he's doing this that is designed for university students studying marine biology. If your kid can do it, let them. If it's too much, they'll tell you. If it's too hard, they'll tell you. So this, I know we're going to come really close, but deschooling is the process of deprogramming, and it's what I've been talking throughout. Observe your child, recover from school, create your own routines. If your child needs more sleep, let them sleep in. If they are more active, get them into more active things. It's all about your relationship with your child and you being the one that knows your child best. Unschooled, an excellent book by Carrie McDonald, Raising Curious, Well-Educated Children Outside the Conventional Classroom. And that's what we refer to the school system as conventional school. It's not traditional, because traditional is what we do. Traditional is helping your children learn at home. More research, there's always research. You could spend your whole life doing research and not actually homeschool. So don't research too much. Find out the easiest way to get the summary of what you need, and you'll be good. So here again, it's like our spectrum, but it goes into a little more detail. The school at home option, these are all in the parent-led style. If you there's parents that, in order to feel like they're confident and doing this right, they want to recreate that school at home idea. And that's okay if it works for you, but be open to recognize when it doesn't and when you might need to switch. Classical education. Now I've got details on all of these, but I didn't include them because I'm just going through them really quickly. There's Waldorf, Montessori, Froebel, Steiner, Charlotte Mason, unit studies, project-based homeschooling, and then game schooling. There are literally kids who learn everything they need from games. In fact, I'll tell you a piece of trivia. If you complete the game Age of Empires 4, you can get a university degree from the university in in Phoenix. What is it? I forget the name of the city. It starts with an A as well. But so completing that video game is so historically accurate that you are eligible for a university degree. World schooling, families that travel all over the world with their kids, and their kids learn from life. They learn from traveling. They might go to groups that are other homeschoolers or other world schoolers, or even local schools that will invite them to come and participate for a month or so, depending on how long they're going to be in the country. Then we have unschooling, free learning, and free schooling, which is basically what you think it is. It's you live life and your kids learn along the way. Radical unschooling. This is you let them eat what they want, even if it rots their teeth. You let them shower when they want. You let them do whatever they want. Eclectic learning and autodidactic learning is, generally speaking, just self-directed learning. Just really quickly, you can connect with local support groups online. What kind of plan do you want that will help you? Do you want lesson plans? There's tons available online for free. There's every type of curriculum for free. I would say the worst thing you can do is go out and buy curriculum, because there's so much stuff on for free. And if you get the email, send me your email. I'll send you an email in return that will give you a list of where to get free curriculum. And record. How are you going to keep records? So a lot of people are like, oh, well, I have to plan this. You don't have to plan this. You can do a reverse plan, which is recording what your child does. Do I have 2 minutes to show a website?
I'm good if you guys are good. Just letting you guys know you can hop off whenever you like. You're not obligated to stay, but if you want to, we'd love to have you.
Okay, so there's a website, and then there's ta-da, you're ready to go, and approved, make it so. You're the one that decides when you're ready, and we're all here to help you. There is, on the Ontario Homeschool group on Facebook, there are almost 18,000 home educators there who are happy to share their experiences, what works for them, and any questions you might have. Highly recommend using the search function first. So if you're looking for, a specific like university or whatever, just type it into the search engine and you'll find it. So now I'm gonna jump back here. So one of the newest posts that we did on the OFTP website is everyday items. that work for homeschooling. So you don't have to go out and buy a ton of stuff. You already probably have writing and paper, pencils, markers, sticky notes, old calendars, planners, etc. Storybooks, novels, comics, even from the thrift store or from Good Value Village or Good Will. Games and puzzles, you can always get those at Goodwill and Value Village and other thrift stores. Measuring cups, spoons, kitchen scales, all these things are natural places. Science and nature. So I'll give you a link to this. One of the really coolest things that has come around, we did this minimalist home educating checklist. So you can go through and download that. But if I go over here really quickly, and if I could share my screen now, if that's all right. learningcorner.co. Just going to see if that works there.
You can share your screen too.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So let me see here. Share. And getting rid of my Google Chrome there. Okay, I'm just gonna go. Okay, so I want one of you or two of you, depending on how long you want to stick around, to give me a regular activity that your child does. So like if they're not being told what to do, what would they do? Did my screen show up?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to sign in here. And of course, here's another account because it is the other account. Oh no, of course I should have opened up the other one. Let me stop sharing on this browser and start sharing on the other one. Sorry about that. This I'm already logged into, so. Okay. learningcorner.co. Now, I'm just going to give you this very basic one. And did somebody have an idea of just something that your kid does for fun? Anybody?
Mine is too little, so she just runs around.
What? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
So let's say playing with Lego.
yeah.
Well, it's not an Eggo, it's a Lego. Let's see the here and building a tower. Okay, so let's make this a little younger child. I'll make it my grandson. He's 5. So I'm gonna switch over here. So playing with Lego, building a tower. I'm gonna click select format. So select format, I'm gonna ask for bullet points because I prefer that. Under subjects, you can click all the subjects you want it to record in. And so if somebody's questioning your choices to homeschool and they don't understand learning happening outside of school, this is a good way for you to help them understand what it is. You can also take a photo of your child doing the activity or the activity that your child did or a craft or whatever they made, and then you analyze it. And in about 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, you will get this mathematics. So all the things that are involved in the child's brain without you knowing it, this is what's going on. They are counting the bricks, even if they don't say it out loud. Practicing one-to-one correspondence with cardinal numbers if they do it out loud. Comparing the height of the tower to shorter ones. Seeing which ones fall over. Aligning bricks edge to edge, length, measurement, spatial relationships. Science. It's under physical science and engineering. Observed that a wider base made his tower more stable, introducing the concept of balance and center of gravity. We don't usually use these kinds of terms to describe the play that our 5-year-olds do. And yet this is what is happening in their brains. Visual arts, choosing the colors, aesthetic preferences, 3-dimensional towers, manipulating Lego versus Duplo, language arts. If you're communicating with him, hey, that's a really great tower. Can you tell me about it? And they might tell you a whole story about what's going on in this tower. Listen to adult feedback, responded, developing receptive and expressive language abilities. This is what we do next. So to deepen Levi's learning, try measuring the tower with him. Give him the ruler and see how tall it is. Give him graph paper and pencils and pens and see if he wants to copy it. Books that he might like because he likes the towers. Where does it fall on the learning standards in Ontario if you are following them? And then what to do next. A worksheet if you want to, count and record, grid paper blueprint activity. Which is the strongest? Asking him questions. These are all real learning. And you can keep all this information in your child's calendar. Now, that's something that does cost, but you can do a similar thing with ChatGPT. Don't be afraid of ChatGPT. You can say, my child's reading this book, or you read a book to your child for bedtime. What will my child learn from reading this book? And put in the book name. ChatGPT will give you similar answers, not as detailed, but you never know. It's getting better and better every day. So does anybody have any questions? I know this is really overwhelming.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I've actually been homeschooling my kids for a few years, but we've just moved to the country from England.
Yay.
That's
and
oh, amazing. So I'm just getting my head around the difference with homeschooling here and like the law and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But also I was interested because you'd mentioned how you'd gone to university at a very early age.
Yes.
Like in England, you have to have done your high school education and college education before you go on to university. What's the difference here? How are you able to get
Here, college and university are pretty much equal. Colleges think trades and hands-on kind of thing, and universities are more for lawyers and doctors and that type of thing. So the more academic things are at university, and nurses will go to college, doctors would go to universities.
Okay, so do you need to have done had any qualifications No, not at all.
No. Now, the majority of kids that are in the system will be told they can't be successful without and you can't apply without a university, without credits, 30 credits and a transcript and that kind of thing. But just because you don't have to do it that way. I'm going to share my screen again really quickly. So kids can start at any age. So for instance, that young man that I said went to medical school having no school background. He'd never been to school before. He went to the university. He found a neonatal surgeon who that's what he wanted to be at the time. And he asked if he could job shadow him. So he job shadowed him 1 day a week for 6 or 8 months. And then the professor wrote a letter to the university saying, this kid is in my class. He's accepted into full-time studies. And that happens. They won't tell you it happens. It will not be information that is on the website because they want everybody to do the same things.
Right.
Right? Not that it means they're actually knowing the same things. It just means that they are streamlining the process for their organization rather than what the child's actually able to do.
Right. Okay. See.
So there's always another way. So this will show free university courses online with MIT, Harvard. Coursera has like all the universities. There's Allison has a lot of the universities and other colleges and that. But just to look at Coursera, for instance, you can audit any of these courses for free. So why waste a ton of money and a ton of time going to high school, spending 4 years doing everything other than what you're interested in, and then going to university or college and still not knowing what you want to do and end up in a course that you think you might want to do, but it's not really what turns out what you want. So this 13-year-old was able to go to this medical school and within a significant amount of time realized that maybe he didn't want to be a neonatal surgeon, but he wanted to be in a different type of medicine. And he was able to do that early enough that he hadn't wasted years and years of his life. So if I look up here, I don't know, what did I look up last? Machine learning. Now let's do something more human. Veterinarian. Listen to me. Okay, so we've got University of Edinburgh. So you get, even doing the auditing of this course, at the end of it, you could pay the $60 and get a certificate. And you'd have a certificate from the University of Edinburgh. You could be 12. There are no age restrictions.
I have a related question.
Yeah.
So like we come from India, there we usually have entrance exams, like if you want to get into medical or engineering,
Yeah.
or even law.
And you can prepare and take those if you choose to. But
so here,
yeah,
I am not sure what the system is here in Canada or US. I have heard about SATs and GREs. Do we need to have like 10th grade transcripts or 12th grade transcripts?
no, that's what I'm saying. You don't need to have any school experience at all.
Okay.
See, where am I? Oh, I just lost my screen. But the more you have is better, right?
Yeah.
Let me just go back up here. So I was in the one for university. I can't find the window that I was in, but if you go to ontariohomeschool.org, and I'm just going to show you this now. And type the backslash on the end and put the word university in. That's where, so no age restrictions, no transcripts or OSSD credits or any other academic prerequisites needed. I never signed up for it. I met the professor and was invited to audit the course that I went to at U of T. So,
Okay.
you know, there are a million different ways, no tests required. Courses are open for audit, full access is free.
Mhm.
Harvard, same thing. You can do Harvard courses online. You can do MIT, which is the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. There's no reason for kids to waste 4 years or more of their life before trying these things. Because if they're capable of doing them, let them. If they get in and it's too hard, then do something like Khan Academy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So Khan Academy, which I'm just going to flip over here. Khan Academy has everything. They even have a partnership with NASA. So they have all the grade level, except, yes, I do. Okay, here. Can you see that? The lists of grade level stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got all the math up to grade 8. You've got getting ready for math for thing, calculate. If that's what your kid's interested in, go for it. Algebra, geometry, all these things, high school level, AP, college, all of that. Then over here, you've got partner courses in ancient art, Asian art, biodiversity, music, NASA. So you can take courses from NASA or Pixar through, and this is all free. Every grade level, you've got computing, you've got language, life skills, reading and language, all the way up. It's all there for free. So the point is, the most important thing is that you have the skills. And almost everywhere you look will say grade 12 or equivalent. And the equivalent can just be whatever matches the expectations.
Okay.
And I'm always open for calls at, you know, at your convenience.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
There's so much. I could like go on and do this for like 4 days. So
that was so interesting. That was really like I listened to like I've learned so much. That was awesome, Gail. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank everybody for coming and participating.
Sure. For sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, everybody, on your
Take
journey.
care, and I hope to hear from
Thank you.
so I can give you that email with all the links.
Yes, if you want to receive an email, I can build it, like create it for you. Just drop your email in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go and have a great evening.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night.
So I will have those emails sent out tomorrow with just some of the information that Gail talked about. And yeah, how do you guys feel after that?
Yeah,
Lots of
it's very interesting.
Good, good. Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
good night. Okay, Melina. Bye bye. Good
Bye,
night.
Berkamal. See you later.
Bye. Yeah. Bye
Bye.
bye.